A national champion was crowned last night as the Indiana Hoosiers got their first in school history holding off Miami. The Cowboys interviewed former Cardinals head coach Jonathan Gannon for their defensive coordinator vacancy, and we'll interview Eagles passing game coordinator Christian Parker coming up. There's still interest in passing game specialist Jim Leonard. This, according to the NFL Network's Ian Rappaport. Welcome into Extra Innings with Pledger here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I am James Pledger. Appreciate you joining me. However, you may be joining me, whether that is on 94.1 on your FM dial. If you have to be locked in live, listen at sasportstar.com via our AA Best Bell Bonds audio player, or if you're watching the show live on YouTube, that's right. We stream all of our shows on YouTube. Just go to there, search SA Sports Star at YouTube. You can like, subscribe, comment along with the show, or just feel free to call in the old-fashioned way, 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776 if you want to be a part of the conversation. I always appreciate having y'all in tow with me here on Extra Innings with Pledger, and not going to lie, it was a rough weekend. It was a very, very rough weekend, and dealing with a bachelor party and all the shenanigans that are going on with that. And then Sunday, watching that Texans game, just knowing the defense played well enough to where you could win, and knowing beforehand that the guy you were facing tomorrow is this Sunday is Jarrett Stidham and not Bo Nix. The path to a Super Bowl does not get better for you as a team. This was your opportunity. You had no Holmes. You had no Mahomes. You didn't have to face Allen since he just got ousted. There was no Joe Burrow. Lamar Jackson is not in, and you didn't have to face him in the first round because Tyler Loop missed a field goal in Pittsburgh. The road was paved. And CJ Stroud, a guy who had just 5 interceptions in his rookie year, decided to match that total in this game, basically, and completely blow away the Texans' chances at their first AFC Championship game, Super Bowl appearance, and anything else. And now you're left with questions as it pertains to CJ Stroud. And the Morning Huddle was talking about those questions that now surround the Texans and their quote unquote franchise quarterback.
I said at the time when they drafted CJ and Will Anderson 2 and 3, I said it's going to be very difficult to pay both of those guys if everything works out perfectly. If they're both great, it's going to be difficult to pay both of them top of the market deals. Will Anderson has been everything the Texans drafted and more. Will Anderson is phenomenal.
Yep.
Cowboys fans certainly know the value of an elite pass rusher. You don't let those guys go.
And they won't.
They are going to pay Will Anderson his money, and he is going to demand top of the market money. But if CJ Stroud is also asking for top of the market money, it becomes very difficult to even entertain that.
Now, okay.
And David Mulligetta is his agent. He is going to ask for top of the market money.
Let's say David Mulligetta reads the room. And he comes in and goes, dude, you're not going to get 50. And if I walk in there and ask for it, they're going to laugh me out. What if I walked in and said 35 for 6 years? Would you take it? Would you be amenable as a Texan fan? You're not paying top dollar, but you're paying a high average quarterback money for what might not even be a high average quarterback. I don't know.
I don't think CJ Stroud would want a 6-year deal. I'm
just saying, is there a way that Texan fan could go, okay, the money's right? Or do you look at this and go, this is a failed experiment, and now from here on out, I feel like it's going to be good money or bad money after good or good money after bad, however you want to define this. It's just better for us to part as friends. Or is there a dollar level where he could come in and say, well, I know I'm not going to be Joe Burrow and I'm not going to be Lamar, but I'm a $35 million quarterback. And in 3 years, that's a pretty good deal. Maybe if I did that, would it be amenable? Or do you look at a guy like him and go, we're 0 for 2 on this, buddy?
I think I would sign a deal, or I would sign him to a deal similar that the Raiders signed Geno Smith to, where I think it was
a 3-year show me.
I think it was guaranteed 33 a year for 2 years. And if with incentives, you can make up to like 45 over those 2 years.
And I know you're right. Mulligetta, he did not get to where he is by looking for the minimum.
Right.
He's going to extract every possible penny he can from you. But if Stroud does read the room and see, I ain't going to get it here. And if they cut me loose, I don't know where I'm going to land. I'll land someplace, but I know it'll be a worse place than this. If they're going to pay me to go someplace, I'm going to land in Arizona or Vegas with a bigger hill to climb than here. So I don't know if modern salary cap wisdom applies to him where, I'm going to get it whether you pay me or not, which is kind of true. Somebody going to pay him.
Which that's the fascinating thing. And then you worry, oh, well, what if he goes? I don't care.
I don't care if he goes. As long as he's not across the street. As long as he's not up in Dallas where I got to read about him every day. I don't care where he goes.
But the idea is you're either going to have to pay him or reset the position. I think I'd rather reset the position.
Because I've got a defense that I know for the next year, if I pay appropriately, he's going to keep me in just about every game. I can go to a game manager and be moderately effective, especially considering I'm in a pretty lousy division. I don't got to do much, and I really don't got to retool, and I shouldn't have to spend $40 million to be here. I could probably get a rookie or a journeyman to get me where I was this year. Well, they did win 9-10 straight, so it's hard to really blow things up. But it's how they won and what they did. There's too many questions, man. And there's so many other obvious reasons why you don't do it. Everybody's failed at this. It doesn't work out. It doesn't.
CJ Stroud, in his rookie year, threw 23 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. He threw 4 interceptions on Sunday. He threw 1 less interception on Sunday than he did his whole rookie year. There's been a serious regression. And now I think there's also maybe a possibility would be just to not pick up his 5th-year option. And
I think that goes without saying.
And
man.
You let him play next season. Yes. And if he somehow returns to elite form,
franchise,
then you pay elite money.
Oh, franchise.
Yeah, and that's fine. But if he's not, then you don't have to kick the can down the road for another year that you've already paid him, which the 5th year would be way more expensive than the 4th one. And so if you're only paying him if he plays at an elite level. That's what I would do if I'm the Texans. What I certainly don't do is say, yeah, come on in, David Mulligetta. What does CJ want? Okay, here's that.
Yeah, that's out the window. It really is. And that's why if Mulligetta, it still could work out. Getting franchised as a quarterback is no crime. Dude, you're getting paid pretty well. You just don't have the long-term security that you'd like to get. I think that's the best case scenario for CJ right now is just you're going to have to go out and prove it for a year. Or you're going to have to sign a Geno deal if you want some kind of, roots.
The reports yesterday that they will pick up his 5th-year option. It hasn't been officially done yet, but the overriding thought is that they will.
As they should. Look, pick up the 5th-year option. That's only $6 million, which is pennies and peanuts for a quarterback, and you figure it out. You give him 1 more year, and if it's not there, you have to reset the position. It's a difficult conversation to have, but CJ in that game looked broken. And I don't know if by doing what they did to him last year, they mentally broke him and his confidence and his protection. But that was just brutal. The Drew Show says, how bad does a guy have to mentally break down before you realizes he sucks? Joshua Jimenez, noted Texan fan, 3 years, $45 million. Is that 45 total or 45 per? Because 45 per, that's Baker money. That's not awful. I mean, 45 total would be awesome, but I don't see anybody doing that. Drew Show, once again, best you can do is draft Carson Beck. Have them fight out in a competition at training camp between he, Mills, and Stroud. Trade the loser for picks like Aikman and Walsh. All right. I mean, not everything's one-to-one comparisons in sports, unfortunately. I like the idea of it. I'm a proponent of drafting a quarterback almost every single year unless you have the guy that you know is the guy. And even then, you should still be taking swings in the middle to late rounds, or if there's a guy with traits you like, because A, injuries are a thing in the NFL, and B, they're assets. If you hit on a quarterback, that is an asset. You could turn that what they turn a Joe Milton into a fourth. They turn late round quarterbacks that show well in the preseason and any game action they may see. This is why the NFL is quarterback hungry. 1 year you think you have a guy like CJ Stroud, and the next year you're questioning your entire existence as a franchise. And it looks like last year may have mentally broke CJ. Does he get a reset? I would tend to offer it to him. I am more lenient than some, though. Joe was calling for CJ Stroud to be benched in the halfway through the second quarter in our group text. By halftime, I kind of agreed with him. I was like, it's too early. He can fight his way through this. And then pick number 4 came, and I was like, that's awful. You got to put Mills in. This defense is playing too well. And Drew Show mentions you don't need Caleb Williams to make the Super Bowl with that defense. I get it. But at the same time, is it on CJ Stroud? Caleb Williams looked equally as awful last year. Ben Johnson's made him look a hell of a lot better this year. Nick Caley is a first-time play caller. At least Ben Johnson was a proven play caller that you knew his development of Caleb Williams would be similar to that of Jared Goff. You put him in a system that is beneficial and behooves him and helps exacerbate his strengths more than his weaknesses, while taking away from those weaknesses by trying to stay away from that part of his game. I mean, look at what Brian Schottenheimer did with Dak Prescott this year, and it was beautiful. Play callers matter. And I don't know if I trust Nick Caley as a play caller, or should I not trust CJ Stroud as a play caller? It's a very interesting dilemma that the Texans are in, and I am befuddled and would like to know more definitively where rookie CJ went. Was that a mirage? Because, I mean, he was great in college. He was great when protected. He was great when just cutting it loose. He's getting his 5th year option picked up. He's got a whole 4th year this year before they have to make any kind of real decision on CJ Stroud. But I can guarantee you the decision that's not being made, unless it is under market value, he's not getting a contract extension this year. This is Extra Innings with Pleasure. I am James Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. Indy Clue's dreams turned into a nightmare on Sunday, and the former Houston Texan breaks down exactly where the state of the franchise is with CJ Stroud and what their next move should be. Does he agree with y'all? We'll discuss coming up next here on Extra Innings with Pleasure on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
It's a hump day on the Morning Huddle. Back to back for San Antonio for the Spurs. How do they look after two coming out of Houston?
And the coaching carousel continues to turn. So many places still open. We'll talk coaching. We'll talk NBA. And, oh, by the way, we got a Super Bowl just around the corner. Lots to talk about. Get here early. Party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Mornings 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The football playoffs are here, and Underdog is the best place to get in on all the gridiron action. You can make picks and win money right now here in Texas, and it is so easy. You pick your favorite players. Are they going to go higher or lower on their stats? Touchdowns, rushing yards, receptions, whatever. You get it right, you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. And I think there's some great opportunities right now because we know some of these teams really care. Some of these teams really don't care. So some of these star players, you expect maybe they'll go out and play a couple snaps and be done for the day. Maybe look at some lowers on them. Maybe take some hires on some of the backup guys you think will get some run. Either way, there's always plenty of action to be had on Underdog. What are you waiting for? Download the app today. Use promo code Alamo. You'll get $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code Alamo. Underdog. Make picks and win money. Must be 18 plus and present in Texas. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Let me ask you a question. Is your roof ready for anything? Well, Stevens Roofing, a locally owned company, has been serving our community for decades. Whether it's a commercial project or residential or repairing your old roof or maybe installing a new one, they've got you covered. And now Stevens offers solar. Stevens Solar Solutions can save you money and energy. Stevens Roofing, quality craftsmanship, solar solutions, and local expertise under one roof. Call 210-785-0994 or go to stevensroofing.net.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Quarry area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at tsaog.com.
Every morning, we rise and shine, make breakfast, and brush away the night's rest. These routines help us start the day off right. Nature-Made vitamins are a simple step in that daily care regimen. Multivitamins with daily essentials, clinically studied probiotics for gut health support, magnesium to help relax the body. Nature-Made is made to care for you every day. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon.
Hello?
You won't believe where I am.
Are you running?
Mile 26. I'm going to make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on up. Plus 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing. Mom, how do you feel?
I feel great. I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture. And then you may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with AutoPay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabytes, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence Data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Free products and services prices are the best. They're next to non-existent, though. But the next best thing does exist. Barter. Alamo Barter. Right here in San Antonio, if you have a business and provide a product or service, you can barter with hundreds of other businesses that are already members. From trips to a medical visit, restaurants, and home services, Alamo Barter is a great way for you to trade out your skills with others. Call Alamo Barter or visit them online at alamobarter.com. alamobarter.com.
San Antonio Sports Star.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pledger here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm James Pledger. Thank you for joining me. You can follow me on social media, whether that's Twitter, X, Instagram, all that good stuff, TikTok, at I Am Pledger. Follow the station at SA Sports Star. We appreciate y'all and everything that y'all do, and for hanging with us this evening. A lot of people want to fix the quarterback solution. What does a former player think of the situation? Well, Indy Kalu joined the Blitz earlier today. Houston Texans legend, former defensive lineman for the Texans, now Texans TV analyst. What did he think about the performance by C.J. Stroud and what the next steps of the Houston Texans should be?
And our resident Texans expert, Texans legend, San Antonio Sports Hall of Famer, Indy Kalu on the Buyers Barricades guest line. I just knew last week when we were talking today, we'd be talking about the first ever trip to the AFC Championship game. How stunned are you with what you saw from C.J. Stroud?
Stunned, disappointed, and this is one of the few times where a loss as a fan, you know, not as a player, but as a fan, kind of lingered and stuck with me. Typically, when the game's over, I'm like, you know what, it's just a game, move on. But this one bothered me because you don't get to see defenses like that every single year, especially if it's your quote-unquote team that you root for. And it just feels like it was wasted because that was one of the best defenses I've seen in a long time. And I truly felt like all you needed to do was be average on the offensive side of the ball, and that defense was going to carry you to the Super Bowl. You were horrific on the offensive side of the ball and still almost had a chance to win. Like that loss, that one really hurt. That one really bothered me.
Yeah, Indy, you're exactly right. I think it was 21-16 at one point, despite all the
Late
turnovers.
Third quarter.
And it's just, but you know, Jason and I have been talking, Indy, and I'm curious to get your thoughts. And I'm not saying that this defines C.J. Stroud's career, not even close to it. But the Texans have to start thinking because he's coming up for a contract extension. I think they'll probably do his 5-year deal and
fifth-year option.
Fifth-year option, and then after that, they got a decision to make. What decision should they make?
No, you don't make a decision until, like you said, after that 5th year. I think, in my opinion, all C.J. Stroud has done is played himself into a season where he has to prove it. But look, if I was Cal McNair and his agent knocked on my, and for those that don't know, Cal McNair is the owner of the Texans, and if C.J. Stroud's agent knocked on my door and said, "Hey, I want to talk extension," I would beat him with a bat. I would literally be, "Oh yeah, come sit down at the conference table. Let me go get my GM," and then I would just beat him with a bat because, all jokes aside, all I think is, yes, they're going to pick up the 5th-year option. You almost have to do that, but you don't even talk extension. You don't even talk, in my opinion, negotiations until after next season if he proves himself. Because whether it's, no matter how harsh it may sound, it feels like he regressed since his rookie year. So why would you sign him to a long-term deal unless he takes some kind of huge discount, which I don't see him doing?
His agent is David Mulligetta. He is not taking any kind of a discount. But you're right, he has regressed. It doesn't seem like it. He has regressed since that incredible rookie year, one of the best rookie years we've ever seen a player produce at the quarterback position. And he hasn't been that guy. So not only Indy Kalu do I think that the Texans just pick up his 5th-year option, but you got to start finding his replacement this year. Whether you draft a quarterback, you look at free agent potentials. Could Davis Mills be that guy? Mac Jones, a Malik Willis? I don't care if he's uncomfortable in the quarterback room, knowing that, yeah, we found our guy. I just can't see Houston signing him to a deal like Tua or even Trevor Lawrence. Now, Trevor Lawrence had a good year this year, but when he signed his deal, people are like, what the hell are you doing? Because it's time. And do you do what every team always does? All right, sign him to a deal, hoping he's the right guy. Or this offseason, do you go looking for your next starting quarterback?
You know what? I don't know, Jason, if it's replacement, but I was talking to a buddy of mine, and I said you absolutely have to draft or bring in competition. There isn't anything about this season where you say, oh, no, we don't need to draft a quarterback, and you just draft that proverbial seventh-round quarterback just to be a camp body. I'm like, no. Like, I do believe that it should be that third or fourth-round pick used on a quarterback to make that seat uncomfortable, whether it's the kid out of Vanderbilt who might drop because of his size, but he's just a gamer to me. A guy like that you bring in just to make that seat uncomfortable. I'm with you, but I'm not ready to say replacement because with what he's shown, I still believe his ceiling is high, but he just has to consistently reach that ceiling. And if it's bringing in competition, if it's bringing in somebody else who's in his ear, whether it's the quarterback coach, they're going to have to do something. But I 100% agree with the idea of bringing in real competition. Like I'm talking about during the preseason, CJ gets the first 3 series and fill in the blank, whoever that competition. And it's not Davis Mills. Davis Mills is a good backup, but I'm talking about somebody that is going to push him to be the starter and bring out the best in him. He gets the other 3 series with the first team offense. Like that's what I want to see. I want to see when guys aren't comfortable and they're competing.
Well, ND, and you know how the NFL works better than anybody, but I mean, Will Anderson Jr. is probably going to get his extension this year. So the Texans are going to have to start paying some money. And you know what that does to rosters sometimes? Sometimes you have to cut corners in other places. Do you think that defense gets hurt by that, or can they keep this group together?
No, it'll be ridiculous to expect this defense to play the way they played this year and next year. And I don't want to sound like a Debbie Downer. I'm just talking about, one, the greatness of the defense, the way they gelled, not just the nucleus, but the ancillary players, how they just fit in. And then keep in mind, this defense was healthy late in the season. So you can't go into any season expecting to have all your aces. Just look at the San Francisco 49ers and what they suffered on their defensive side of the ball. So no, I don't think and I don't think it's going to be because of the well-deserved contract that Will Anderson's about to get. When Will Anderson signs his contract, he will be the highest-paid defensive player in the history of the NFL. And that'll probably last a week or two. The way we see things work, but it'll be well-deserved. But I don't think that's going to be the reason why the defense suffers. I just think that they had a historic run that you can't expect to have every single year.
Indy Kalu here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Indy, take us inside the locker room for a moment. You just described the historic run that defense was on, a defense that could have carried this team to the Super Bowl with decent, average quarterback play. Not even great, not elite, just be average. Don't screw it up. Now, I know D'Amico Ryan says, I got CJ's back, never even thought about benching him. All the defensive players said all the right things when talking to the media. What were those defensive players saying on the sideline after yet another interception, in that locker room when they were stuck on the plane in the snow and couldn't get out of there, knowing their run ended because their quarterback was awful?
What was being said on the sideline during the actual game and in the locker room and on the plane, 2 entirely different things. Like, this defense, they're a bunch of madmen. Like they're a little psychotic in a good way. They're the type of defense where if the offense throws an interception, instead of thinking to themselves, God, dog, we got to get back out there, they're literally like, oh, good, we get another chance to go knock somebody's head off. Like, I was lucky enough to play on a defense like that once or twice, and I feel like that's this defense. But if I'm going to be real and transparent, my guess would be when they're sitting on the plane and they're looking at each other, they're kind of side-eyeing each other like, you know what, these fools on offense, they better just take a nap on the way home and not say anything, because if I see one of them smiling, if one of them is smiling, there's going to be a problem on the plane. But this defense, they're going to say all the right things. They're going to be great teammates. But when they're together, when they're grabbing a beer or whatever they're drinking nowadays after the season, yeah, I'm sure they're going to say some things that they would absolutely never say to the public.
Well, they're drinking Mai Tais in Cancun, unfortunately, right now, and that's what they're doing and probably talking about it down there. But so, look, C.J. Stroud, somewhat to his defense, but he made some really dumb plays that were just he shouldn't have made. However, he didn't have his two wide receivers, both gone. Dalton Schultz gets hurt early in that football game. The running game it wasn't very good on Sunday. Let's face it. Now, Patriots defense is not as bad as some people might think. He's going to get those pieces back next year. That's got to help him a little bit. And there will be no excuse once that happens. And so I think you're right. The fifth-year option, you pick that up and you see how he does before you make a further decision. But I got to believe that Nick Caserio, in the back of his mind's going, man, I just don't know.
No, with everything you said is a good excuse, is a good reason for why he didn't play great ball or even good ball. But at the same time, he led us to believe by his play, and this is me giving him props, I'm not saying anything negative, but he led us to believe by his play as a rookie that he doesn't need to have that perfect surrounding to have success. You know, when you think of the top-tier quarterbacks who carry their teams to victory, it's usually a lot of times where you might not know who the receivers are, who the tight ends are, because they're that good. I mean, look, I hate to bring up the name Tom Brady because he's the greatest. He's the true GOAT when it comes to the quarterback position. But how many years did he have wide receivers where we actually had to log in to NFL.com to remember who his top receivers were? And I know he had some years with Randy Moss and obviously the great Gronkowski. But if you're going to be that top tier quarterback, if you're going to walk in to the negotiations with the general manager and say, hey, I should be making $50 million a year. Yeah, when Nico Collins goes down, when Schultz goes down, you're still expected to play well.
Indy Kalu here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. C.J. Stroud is the first player ever with 5+ interceptions and 5+ fumbles in a single postseason. There is that. I mean, it's just mind-boggling how bad he was late, and especially in the playoffs. And that game against Pittsburgh, if they're playing any offense that, if he had that performance, say against Baltimore, had that kick made it, they lose that game. How does one explain in football terms what you saw from a quarterback in 2 playoff games?
It's hard to explain it, but like you said, that was historically bad as far as the stats go. And I didn't even realize that, Jason, until you said it. So it kind of caught me off guard. But that's historically bad. So just the fact that you said that's the first time. Yeah, it's record setting. That kind of answers the question. And again, to stay on something positive, but it doesn't matter because this is a team sport made up of 3 phases: defense, offense, and special teams. But it just goes to show how great that defense was. I mean, to win one of those games and to actually still be in it going into the fourth quarter of another game when your quarterback has a historically bad game, it's a nod to the defense. And at the same time, it's like you can't just go into this offseason saying, okay, everything's going to be all right. They need to put their heads together and figure out a way to get this offense rolling.
You know, and it is what makes it so sad because it took a fabulous play by the Patriots receiver Booty to break that game open. Otherwise, the Texans are still right there in it. If the offense could have done anything, the problem is I never had any faith they could get anything going against that Patriots defense.
And you know what? I'm glad you brought that up. That catch by Booty. I mean, when you watch it and you say, okay, what could Stingley have done? And you're like, nothing. It was great coverage, but it was dang near a perfect pass and a perfect catch. So you don't mind losing a play like that. If that's how you lose a game, you almost don't mind losing a game like that. But it's the other horrible plays that we witnessed, and you can point to and say that's why the Texans are going to be sitting at home this weekend. And then when you look to see the quarterback that they would have been facing, it's like, oh man, talk about pouring salt in the wound, knowing that Can you imagine this defense facing Jarrett Stidham? Like,
I mean, it's a free pass to the de facto AFC Championship game was in Foxborough, right?
It was.
And I guess part of the difference, no matter how great Houston's defense is, C.J. Stroud with the 4 interceptions. I mean, Josh Allen lost a couple of fumbles and threw a couple interceptions, and you always kind of felt like, well, it's Josh Allen. He's going to have his team in position to win. With C.J. Stroud, as a fan, you don't have that confidence.
I watched both games. I know a lot of people are throwing out there, why isn't Josh Allen getting the same hate? And I don't have a dog in the fight when it comes to the Buffalo Bills or Josh Allen, but I watched the game. It did it. And correct me if I'm wrong or let me know y'all say, his was bad, but it didn't feel as bad. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
When I watched Buffalo, I was all, and when the game was over, I was like, oh man, Josh Allen had a rough day. But even with his turnovers, it didn't feel like he lost the game. And I don't know why I'm being biased. Maybe I'm racist and I'm sticking up for the white boy and not the brother. Maybe I'm an Uncle Tom or something. But when I was watching the game, maybe I'm a self-hating Uncle Tom or something. But when I was watching the game, I didn't feel like, you know what? It could be because I really didn't care if the Buffalo Bills won. Maybe that.
No, because you can blame the referees and those calls that they were making late. That's why Buffalo lost the game. Buffalo, but I think it's just your confidence that Josh Allen is, a little Brett Favre-ish, sometimes a little reckless with the football, but at the same time, he's going to make enough plays where you're going to win.
And that's true. And Josh Allen, you felt with that game as close as it was, they were one play away from Josh Allen putting him back in it. The Texans, C.J. Stroud, it was closer to me that the Texans were they were within a score. It was 16-21 at one point, or 16-24, and you're like, they're within a score. But it felt like that touchdown was a dagger that couldn't be overcome because you had no confidence in the offense getting anything going. And that's the difference. You always have confidence in Josh Allen getting you back into something, clawing you back into it if he has to. I give him one more year. I make him play it out. He's got the 5th-year option if you need it. And if his price goes up because he plays well, so be it. But I get Will Anderson done as soon as possible. And if I'm the Houston Texans, that's my approach. But I'm also looking to bring in competition throughout the offseason. I know Josh Jimenez was talking about Tyler Linderbaum. Look, I love Tyler Linderbaum. Ravens aren't letting him go. They'll tag him in some way, shape. I just don't see him hitting the free agent market. You'd be trading for him more so than anything, in my opinion. And I'm okay with that too, because you got multiple second-round picks and draft capital. But you got to figure out something. You got to figure out a way to bring some stability to that offensive line because it hasn't been great. And you need to find something because I think Joe Mixon's time in Houston is done. And you got to find a way to get more out of the running game because Nick Chubb was great for what he was. He wasn't Nick Chubb anymore. And you got to get younger, better at that. This is Extra Innings with Pleasure. I am James Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. Spurs, well, they beat the Jazz last night. They got a game coming up against the Rockets. What do we think's going on as Wemby went 7 for 12 from 3 the day he was named an All-Star? Let's go for it. San Antonio Sports Star, Poor Vita, the Spurs. That's coming up here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. This is Extra Innings with Pleasure.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Celebrate the 17th annual Pork Rind Appreciation Day with PorkRinds.com and NFL legend Devin Hester. We're teaming up to support the Gridiron Greats Assistance Fund, helping retired players get the medical care they deserve. Want to get in the game? Visit PorkRinds.com to play their Crunch Time Hero game and enter daily to win a trip to the 2027 big game in LA, plus a year's supply of pork rinds. Grab the perfect low-carb snack and be your own Pork Rind Appreciation Day hero today at PorkRinds.com.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Man, I love seeing the old gang at these reunions. Did you see Brian? He's in better shape than he was 25 years ago. How is that even possible? Yep, I ran into him a few weeks ago and had to ask. He told me he started taking Nugenix Total T2. The testosterone booster? Yeah, but it's way more than that now. It also skyrockets your nitric oxide in as little as 3 hours. I started taking it right away and I'm already seeing results. I was wondering what you were doing. You seriously crushed me in that pickup game last week. Yep, after 40, energy, strength, drive, it all starts going downhill. But with T2, I feel like my old self again. Stronger, leaner, and my energy is way up. My wife even noticed a difference. They're giving out complimentary bottles right now. Just send them a text.
Text CAR to 321-321 for your complimentary bottle of new Nugenix Total T2. Text now and you'll also get a free bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our most powerful fat incinerator. That's CAR to 321-321.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. Product not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text METER to 321-321 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text METER to 321-321. That's METER to 321-321.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
The new year brings new health goals and wealth goals. Protecting your identity is an important step. Your info is in endless places that could expose you to identity theft, leading to lost funds. LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Resolve to make identity health and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
San Antonio's Sports Star.
Welcome back to Extra Innings with Pledger here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I am James Pledger. Appreciate y'all rocking with me tonight. Lots in the comment section. If you want to go to YouTube, check it out. YouTube.com. Search SA Sports Star. Go ahead and jump in the comments there. Lots going back on debate of whether CJ and somehow D'Amico Ryans has also been pulled into this by Drew Show should still have their jobs any longer in Houston or they should be replaced. Fandom, man. We'll love you for 30 seconds. We'll hate you for 30 seconds later. It all depends what you did for us last. And for CJ, it hasn't been a lot over the last 2 years now. Although You do still see moments, glimpses. You wonder how much of that falls on play calling. You wonder if you let him go, if you get a Sam Darnold or Baker Mayfield situation where they turn into who they were supposed to be. The San Antonio Spurs, well, they didn't listen to everybody. They did not blow it up. They kept things together. They kept Vassell and Keldon and everybody else that we wanted to trade and let them grow with Victor Wembanyama and now Mitch Johnson. And they're one of the best teams in the Western Conference, I would say, one of the best teams in the NBA. And Wemby has been spectacular. Well, earlier this morning on the Morning Huddle, they were talking about the Spurs' most recent victory in which Wemby went ape from behind the arc.
Lollygagging
and Spurs get a dominant,
easy,
but they don't cover win last night. They don't get the cover. We talked about it. 16.5 was such an absurd number. But they get a 123-110 win, never really in doubt.
Yeah, they played with the food.
They jumped out early, and it was, I mean, it was a 4-point game at halftime. And then this was a dominant third quarter for the Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
Good to make some halftime adjustment. It's so funny. Like with the third quarter, when the Spurs come out and play in the third quarter, they win. When they don't, they lose. It doesn't really matter what happens in the other quarters.
Well, it helps you're playing Utah.
Yeah.
They couldn't have got away with the way they were playing against some teams, but Utah is just bereft of dudes. Keontae George is a baller. There's no getting around
he's
that.
good.
And Nurkic always gives us a little bit of trouble, and they out-rebounded us like crazy because they couldn't shoot. So they got us 10-1 in offensive rebounds because they kept missing. I think they were shooting like 30% from the floor. We played with our food. Wemby went off from deep. Because they wouldn't send Nurkic out to guard him, so he was free to shoot all night long, and he took advantage of that. And
well, if the Spurs shoot 42% from three, they're going to win pretty much every game.
And
that's
Utah runs a lot of little guards, a lot of pick and roll and attack with some guards, and they pick and roll from the side. It's kind of an odd offense, but they didn't have much to work with, and the Spurs just went out and took care of business the way a good team should.
Yeah, all the guards played pretty well for the Spurs. Fox, Castle, Harper all played pretty well. Harrison Barnes maybe finding an offensive rhythm again.
Kind of. I think the three is still not falling.
No,
but he was putting the ball on the barn. He was doing the board work and getting to the rim. At least he is active. And let me tell you something. Harrison Barnes at halftime donated $50,000 to the Martin Luther King Walk group. Biggest donation his group has ever gotten.
Really?
I'll tell you what, Harrison Barnes is a solid good man.
Yeah,
I mean, one of those dudes that puts his money where his mouth is. I mean, the biggest donation they have ever gotten. Harrison's been here a year and a half.
Yeah.
He's not going to live here forever, but he's doing good deeds on his trek. He is, in fact, the kung fu dude.
Good for him, man. And I mean, like I said, when they got him, this was I thought it was such a huge get, not only from a basketball standpoint, but from a leadership standpoint. I think because Chris Paul was here last year, he kind of got overlooked, but I think he was just as important to the leadership of this team last year as Chris Paul was. And now with Chris Paul gone and him being like the old dog vet, I just think there's no way to his non-basketball value is immense, and his basketball value is still there, even though he can't shoot a lick now anymore. But
that'll be back, Mr. 100%. One of the things, and I don't have on any good authority what kind of relationship that Harrison has with Keldon Johnson, but I do know it's no coincidence that once Harrison got here, Keldon became a man. And it might have been just the tenure and time that he'd already spent, but I think Harrison Barnes has had a ridiculously good effect on Keldon. Keldon comes to work. It's not about anything but getting the bucket and doing exactly what needs to be done defensively and offensively. He's the sixth man of the year, and I think it's in no small part of either mirroring what he's seeing from Harrison or listen to what Harrison does. They play the same position. They're sitting in the same position group meetings, and Keldon has become an exponentially better NBA player.
I don't think it's just Keldon. I think you can say the same thing for Carter Bryant.
Oh, he's maturing.
I think, Carter Bryant.
All in the same room.
They are looking at Harrison Barnes saying, hey, do what he does.
Absolutely. There's a ripple effect.
And Carter Bryant, because of his athleticism, has a chance to be, he's got a chance to have a different dimension than Harrison does.
He missed two more dunks. He's going to have a bald head.
That's true. That's true. But
oh, But it's true. The veterans that they brought in over the years were perfect for the people that they brought them in to help bring along. And it has helped put the Spurs on this path that they're on now that feels much like Oklahoma City was a couple years ago. Like they are taking giant leaps forward at a time. And I don't put many things out of the realm of possibility for this team with the way that they're growing with each passing day game. No losing back-to-backs or three in a row, prolonged losing streaks, managing to really clean up the things that cost them so much in previous years as they were still growing and learning with all these young guys. And I can tell you right now, this team misses Devin Vassell and what he brings to the table. And it, for somebody that was very hard on Devin Vassell in the last few years, that is a very difficult thing to say sometimes, but he is missed, he is needed, and his ability to bring what the offense needs when it needs it, whether it is slashing or 3-point shooting. It is something that when you have a team that doesn't have a bunch of consistency from behind the arc, you take away one or two of those that are more consistent, and it throws the whole thing out of whack, because we saw it felt like everybody go into a slump all at the same time, and which is wild. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. When we come back, we're going to put a ball on the show, get you ready for the Dallas Cowboys as they continue their head coaching or their defensive coordinator search as they try and find their fourth one in 4 years. And the Houston Texans may not be far behind when it comes to looking for offensive coordinators, because I don't think there was a whole lot of positive in the bag when it came to Nick Caley, but maybe he survives. Maybe it's CJ that gets the axe. I don't know. We'll talk about it as we come back here on Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, the big game is almost here, but every game is big when you play Prize Picks because it's so fun to be right. And when the big game comes around, I'm talking 2,000 times your money. But you got to remember something. That's the code Alamo. With $5, you can get $50 in free play when you go download the Prize Picks app. But when the big game hits, the specials are here, and we've got them. And I love Prize Picks because if my guy is winning, I can cash out early. That's one of the best things about Prize Picks is they take care of you from beginning to end. Prize Picks offers 2,000 times your cash. I've heard all different numbers, not 2,000 from other places. So when it comes down to the big game, and it could be that big game or any big game, Prize Picks makes it a big game. Download the app, use the code Alamo, and use some big free money to play the big game. Prize Picks, let me tell you how good it feels, because it feels so good to be right.
The Gomez Law Firm is proud to be San Antonio's trusted personal injury law firm for the past 50 years. We have Jose with the Gomez Law Firm here with us. Your firm has been fighting for the people of San Antonio since 1973. That's incredible.
There are not a lot of businesses that stick around for even 50 years, let alone personal injury law firms.
If you have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then turn to the law firm that will fight for you. Visit joegomezlaw.com.
And remember, Gomez Law fights.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation, so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like rugs. People say a rug would really bring the room together. And sure, you don't know what that means, but it sounds important. Suddenly you're using words like jute and sisal. Then you see the price and lose it, because how can the thing you walk and spill on cost so much? So you devote your life to taking down Big Rug. But then you remember that switching your home and auto to Progressive could save you hundreds. So looks like Big Rug is safe. For now. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
It's Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Welcome back to Extra Innings with Pledger here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Appreciate all y'all for riding along with me tonight as we take you up to the top of the hour. Fred Record says he would actually shave half his head for great tickets. He wants to be part of Wemby's Jackals. Well, look, Spurs playing tonight. They're in Houston. They got to take on the Rockets. It's going to be very, very interesting how that goes. The defensive coordinator search feels awfully well thought out, laid out for the Dallas Cowboys, which feels very, very un-Cowboy-like. They've cast a wide net, which they said they would. They have brought in legitimate, whether long-standing, when you're talking about Jonathan Gannon or others that have been very successful defensive coordinators in the very recent past, and also up-and-coming rising players, whether that's Christian Parkin, or if you look at Jim Leonard, or if you're going to Durante Jones in Minnesota. They have brought in a litany of guys from different backgrounds that really, really could make a difference. And with what they're bringing in, there's not a defensive coordinator hire that I would be mad at with the way that they have conducted this search at this particular moment. All things could change at any point in time when they announce a hire, but with the people that they have been interviewing, I would be good with almost any of them. I think the front runners in my mind should be probably Jonathan Gannon and Jim Leonard, the Broncos pass game specialist, but I also like the Eagles passing game coordinator and Christian Parker. So, I mean, there is a lot to like about how extensive and far-reaching this search has been with both established and up and coming. And I think, I mean, Gannon was one of the finalists with DeMeco Ryans for the Houston Texans head coaching job because of what he did in Philadelphia with that defense when he helped take them to a Super Bowl. And it did not work out in Arizona, but how many people can you say it did work out for in Arizona ever? Outside of like Bruce Arians. That's it. Bruce Arians. That's it. I think it would be fantastic. Other than that, Spurs got a chance to make a big time statement tonight when they take on the Houston Rockets with tip-off coming up here in just a moment. Until then, it has been a fantastic evening with y'all. Don't forget, make sure that you call your loved ones, check on them. You never know what people are going through in life. And a simple, hey, how are you doing, can change everything. This has been Extra Innings with Pleasure. Start your day with Rob and AJ tomorrow on the Morning Huddle. The Blitz with Jason and Joe from 2 to 6. We'll see you tomorrow night right here on San Antonio Sports Star. 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com.
Texting enrolls you in marketing text messages. Consent are required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge.